Okay, we are live. So, in this episode of the Edge to Edge SEO podcast, I basically just wanted to go over the kind of strategy that you can use to market your flooring company. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use this tool here on my Mac, which is like a tool that will allow me to draw like boxes and graphs and things like that, and arrows and stuff like that, and kind of just walk you through a logical way of basically marketing your flooring company online digitally. So, through a digital marketing strategy. So just going to kind of walk you through the steps that I would take if, perhaps I got, a flooring client where they hadn't done any marketing before, they'd done nothing on their website, and they're basically starting from like a blank canvas. So I'm just going to walk you through this process and kind of explain every bit, as I go along, really. So what I'm going to do is kind of just draw a little box here. So to be fair, I've not actually used this software before, so there might be a few things I don't actually know how to use. But so this is going to be the starting point. So if we're going to be looking at marketing a flooring company's website or marketing a flooring company online, then the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to sort out the website. So most flooring companies, the website is not up to scratch. It's pretty. When I take over a flooring company's digital marketing, their website, it's in a pretty bad state. So therefore, quite often we need to rebuild the site, or we need to kind of revamp it depending on the client's budget. But generally, I would always advise that we rebuild the site. Obviously, unless you've only recently built the site and you kind of was quite attached to it and, didn't want to waste a lot of money because you've literally just got a web designer doing it or something like that. Whatever the reason is, unless there was a reason like that, then generally it's going to be a lot easier for me to start with a new website. Because when I kind of build a new website, the things that I'm going to be able to work on are going to be, so it's going to be the structure, and then something else that I'm going to be working on would be the conversion optimization. So basically, if I was able to build a website, how do I move this around? I don't know how I move. Okay, with my mouse. So if we was able to start by building a new website, then the first thing that I'd be able to do is structure the website in the correct way. So obviously I've shown you in the past the dummy website that I built, and basically I would be building the website in this kind of structure. So I'd be making sure that you've got all of the core pages here, the about, contact us, separating all of your services out into commercial, residential, and then making sure that we got a page for each of those services. And then obviously as an additional kind of additional way of kind of marketing some more of your product specifically, then I'd create a catalog if needed, but the catalog's not really essential. It might not be something that we do initially. That might be something that we add in at a later date. So these are really the main pages: home, about, contact, services, and then splitting up the services into the different pages so that we can create targeted content for each of these different services. And then I would also be just making sure that we've got some of the other key pages, so that the location pages would all be set up, the case studies, the blog, brands, gallery, and showroom if you've got one. Because obviously with these pages here, once we've got all of these pages on your website, then this is a really good place to start. We don't necessarily have to actually start, putting content in all of these pages straight away, but if we've got all of the core pages here, then we know that we've got the right pages in place that we can then start, building out and putting content on. And creating the right kind of content that's going to be able to get us to rank in search engines. So the website is kind of like the core of your marketing strategy, really. So like I say, so once we've done the website, we would then be doing the structure. So I'd be planning out that, and then conversion optimization. So basically making sure that we've got all of the right elements in the right place that are going to help convert the visitor when they land on your website. So, if we take you down a page, the this bit here, if you're looking at the top of the page, this is what you would call above the fold. So basically, before someone starts scrolling, that's all classed as above the fold. So this here is always going to be your heading 1, your heading 2, and then there's going to be a little bit of information about your business there. So this is going to be the most important part above the fold here, where before someone even starts scrolling. So we're going to want to make sure that this is extremely clear, relevant, and it's got all of the right call to actions that you need for your business. So as you can see, that the color of this button at the top here is bright green, and there's nothing else on this site that is bright green, because we want to make sure that this button here stands out above the rest of any other bit of content on it, because getting people to actually get in touch with you is the most important thing. And then as we start scrolling down the page, we're going to be basically putting in like sections that are going to be related to this page that we're on. So at the moment, this is the home page, so we're going to be putting like boxes and links to the different services that you offer, or the key ones that you want to push, like a little bit about us. And then we're going to be putting other elements of your business as we scroll down this page, so like the about us section, the steps that would happen if you got in contact with us. We're going to be putting reviews in there, ideally obviously not these ones because they're not direct from the Google business profile, but we'll be putting a widget in there that actually pulls the reviews in from the Google business profile, putting any awards, certificates, accreditations, and any of that sort of kind of stuff in there. And then we'll be putting the case studies on the page as well, the key case studies that are going to be, the kind of case studies that are going to drive your business forward and potentially convert people a little bit better. Obviously, we'd be creating quite a number of case studies, so we can just pick the best ones to put on the home page or the relevant page. So for example, if you put case studies on carpet tile page, and you're going to want to put carpet tile case studies on that page, or at least carpet anyway. Then we've got recent articles, so again, just showing people that we're active and know what we're talking about by regularly blogging about the products and services that we offer, answering any common questions. And then we got the obviously big bold box here to get in contact with very kind of few fields here, just to make sure that we got the necessary information to then take the lead forward. And then we got links to the areas that we cover in case, firstly, so when people scroll down the page here, they can see quickly that you cover the area that they're in, and also from an SEO perspective, we can link to these different pages as we build them out. And then we got a map, which would ideally be the map that is pinpointed where you're actually based. So going back to this quickly, so that's what we'd be doing really with the website. Is the reason that sometimes it's in many cases, in fact, it's actually easier just to rebuild a website than it is to work on an existing site, because so many sites are built in so many different ways. There's 100 different ways to build a website. Personally, my preference is going to be WordPress, but there's other people out there that would argue WordPress perhaps isn't the best one. But personally, because I've always worked on WordPress and I know WordPress kind of inside out now, it seems silly for me to kind of change over to a different website builder to start building websites with, because as I say, WordPress for me works perfectly for what I need it to. There's tons of other ways of building websites. You've got things like that. I think it's Dupla or whatever it's called. You've got Wix, you've got Squarespace, you've got I can't remember the other ones off the top of my head, but there's loads of other website builders that all do the job and would get your website to the top of the search results, providing that the website is still built to the kind of same structure and way that I'm talking about here. So the problem is when I come onto people's websites, or when another SEO would come on to work on someone's website, if it's not a website that they've built, then that website would have been built for the purpose that the customer needed it at that very moment. So for example, if you went to get someone to rebuild your website now without needing SEO, without needing any kind of marketing, then that website that is being built at this moment in time is not necessarily going to be built ready for an SEO campaign, to market your flooring company or something like that. So that's why sometimes it's just a lot easier just to build a new one. So that would be the first step, is building the website. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is we're then going to be doing SEO. How do we change the size of this? Right, that's a bit better. This is not actually that easy to use, this tool. There's no way of kind of grabbing the screen. You have to move your mouse around. But anyway, so the next thing, after we've built the website, now the website text is gone. Right. So after we've built the website and we've built the structure out, we've put all of the kind of conversion optimization into the site to make sure that it converts well. We're then going to start with the SEO. So basically the SEO we're going to be doing, no, not that one. So the first thing that we're going to be doing with SEO is on page. So the on page SEO is basically going to be, oh mate, this is awful. I'll have to find a better tool at some point. But so the first thing that we're going to be doing is on page SEO. So what is going on? So on page SEO is basically going to be going through your website or doing analysis, finding the right keywords to target, to create the content that's going to target those different keywords, and then obviously putting them on the appropriate pages on your site. Now, probably one of the biggest parts of on-page SEO for a local flooring company is going to be building out the location pages. So if we go through to this site again, you can see we go to locations and we go to this one here. So this is a dummy page that I've built again, and you can see, you know, one of the most important things with on-page SEO is making sure that we've created the right content that's going to target the keywords that you're trying to target. So again, if you're trying to target, for example, flooring in London, or you're trying to target a particular type of flooring in London, like vinyl flooring in London, then you're going to want to make sure that this page covers all of the right headings in order to target those different keywords. Obviously, London's a bit of a broad area, so I wouldn't necessarily suggest always targeting, you know, the most broad area, but you know, you might be targeting a specific area within London, for example, like Bromley or something like that, or Barking or something like that. So, you know, this content on this page has not only got to make sure that we're targeting all of the right keywords for the products and services that you're offering, but also it's targeting the content is relevant enough to the area that we're trying to target. So if it was Bromley, you know, you probably want to mention some different areas that are kind of located within Bromley, within the Bromley area, and we want to create a little bit of content that's unique to the Bromley area to make sure that obviously the page is relevant enough to the products and services you're offering within the location you're trying to target. So that's going to be the kind of the bulk of the on page, is basically just creating the location pages. And because we've already built a website previous to this, because we've already built a website, a fresh website for this campaign, there's probably not going to be much technical SEO that we're going to need to do, because from building a website from scratch, we would have been able to do a lot of that technical stuff, you know, in the build of the site. So, you know, obviously the thing is with technical SEO is the older the site and the more content you put on the site, the more likely there is going to be kind of technical issues. So the kind of things that you're going to be looking for, the most obvious things anyway, are going to be things like broken links. It's going to be, you know, things like HTTP, so it's not a secure website. Duplicate content. There's all kinds of little bits and pieces that you're going to want to try and look out for to make sure that the site kind of, you know, operates smoothly. So by building a website initially, we can basically, you know, kind of tick technical SEO off the list, because, you know, we would have done that in the site build. Essentially, when we launch this site, it's going to be no technical errors. So basically, all we'd need to do at that point when we start SEO is come on here and just create the right content that's going to rank for the right keywords. So once we've done the on-page SEO, the next thing that we're going to want to be doing is the off-page. So off-page SEO is basically promoting your website across the web. So we're trying to, there's a few things that we'd want to be doing. The first thing is we're going to want to create citations. So a citation is basically your name, address and phone number basically placed on another on like a directory, that then matches up to the name, address and phone number that's on your website, and preferably in the footer of your website. So if we go to the bottom here, you'd always want to make sure that your name, address and phone number is down here, and then obviously on your contact page. So what we'll be doing is we'll be citing this name, address and phone number around the web on the various kind of platforms that we can do that on. So things like Yelp, any other kind of major directory that is within your area or within the flooring industry. Next thing that you're going to want to be doing on off-page SEO is basically building backlinks. So building backlinks off of relevant websites that relate to your flooring company's website. So the kind of backlinks that you're going to want to be building are building links from places like home improvement websites. You're going to want to be building links from like construction sites, or even other flooring sites, or whatever it is. So basically you're trying to get a link from someone else's blog or website that will then point back to yours, and every time you get one of these links from somebody else's website that points back to yours, that's then going to pass a little bit of authority from their site to your site. And off-page SEO really, along with all of this stuff here, is kind of done sort of at the same time. So first of all, obviously you build the website, make sure that the website's built in the correct way. And then once you start the SEO and you're creating the content, you should also be outreaching and trying to kind of start building links straight away, because links and anything that you do on your website is going to have a bit of a delayed effect before it actually has an impact on your rankings and all that kind of stuff. So, for example, if you was to build a backlink now, it's going to take a little while for Google to actually crawl and index that backlink on that other person's site, and then obviously give you a little bit of kind of reward from that backlink. So generally when you build a backlink, you're not likely to actually see any kind of effect from the backlink probably about 1-2 months, maybe even 3 months later down the line. So like I say, there's always a delayed effect, so you want to start getting the ball rolling as quickly as possible with the off-page SEO and start promoting your website almost from day one. But a lot of the times when you are building backlinks and stuff like that to your website and you're trying to get a link off someone's site, then they're going to want to link to a high quality page on your website. So that's why sorting your website out in the first place is one of the most important things. If they can see your website's well built, well structured, and it's obviously likely to rank or something like that, then it's going to be a better website for them to kind of link back to, as opposed to some spammy looking outdated website. And then the other thing that you can be doing as well, similar to kind of backlinks, is also running press releases. So you could run press releases about, for example, if you was to create a location page and you targeted, let's say you targeted flooring in Buckinghamshire, then you could run a press release to say that whatever the company name is now offering flooring services in Buckinghamshire, and run that press release back to that page here. And the press release is basically just putting like an article out to all of the different news outlets, and then they're going to decide whether they actually feature that on their site. And then essentially what will happen is you will get quite a lot of backlinks from that one press release. And all of these backlinks will point back to this page here, or the page that you want it to point back to. So it's a way of kind of promoting a page, like a new page or something like that you've just built, or a new product or service that you're offering within a certain location. So once you've done the off page and the on page, or whilst you're doing them anyway, the other thing that you want to be doing is Google your... The other thing you want to be doing is Google Business Profile. Is your Google Business Profile optimization. So to optimize on Google, optimize Google Maps, you're going to want to make sure that you've got a good website in place, because they kind of go hand in hand. If you just had a Google Business Profile but you didn't have a website, then you're hindering your chances of ranking on Google Maps, because you haven't got any other content, on, for example, a website, that you can link from your Google Business Profile. If you obviously had a website but you didn't have a Google Business Profile, then you can't rank on Google Maps. So you need a Google business profile and you need a website to get the most out of Google Maps. And basically what happens is when you do the on-page SEO and you optimize for the right keywords. So for example, you decide that you're going to target like flooring company London, and then in your Google business profile, you're also targeting like the keywords like flooring company London, then it's going to help these two, like your on-page SEO on your website is going to help rank your Google Maps business profile as well. So that's one of the key things, is a lot of people will only kind of focus on their Google business profile and then they won't do any work on their website. And just by optimizing your website for the right keywords, you're going to give your Google business profile a push. So the things that you should be optimizing your Google business profile is obviously collecting reviews. That is literally the main thing, really. But also just going through the profile and making sure that you filled out all of the information as much as you can. So as well as obviously filling out all of the information and getting reviews on a consistent basis and replying to the reviews on a consistent basis, the other things that you can be doing is creating Google Business posts. So every single Google Business post that you create could be about something that's on your website, and then from that post you can link to one of those pages. You should also be creating, you should also add all of your products, so all of your services, as products on your Google Business profile as well, and link back to those corresponding pages on your website. So yeah, so just to reiterate, the first thing we're going to be doing is building the website, then we're going to be doing the SEO, the on-page, off-page, and then your Google Business profile optimization. So once we've got all of that in place, the next most logical thing to be starting to do is content syndication. So the reason this is the most logical thing to do is because when you actually start doing SEO, through some of the activities that you do in SEO, you actually start creating a hell of a lot of content that can then be repurposed to other platforms. So if you've gone through your website and you've optimized your website, you've created like all of the different location pages, you've created all of the different products and services that you offer, so vinyl, wood, laminate, residential, commercial, whatever it is that you offer. And then you've also started writing content for your blog. You've got all your blog posts there, you're writing those on a monthly basis. You've started creating case studies, you're doing those on a monthly basis. You might have even started updating the catalog. You've started, updating your website with the different brands that you offer. You're even creating, specific pages for these brands that you're offering and writing a little bit about them. Then there's a ton of content that you're adding to your website. And all of this content can basically be repurposed. It can be repurposed so it can then be, syndicated out to the different social media profiles. So you can repurpose your website content into videos. Can't type today. Into videos, you can do it into you can add images, and then you can just write a little bit of information about them based on the page that you're basing it on, and then you can turn them into reels. And you can all of these different all of this content that's on your website as written content, like I say, can be turned into videos, images, reels, and then you can syndicate this smaller short form content across the different platforms. So you can then start syndicating the content onto YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok. You could, there's other platforms like Medium, Reddit. So by doing SEO, you're creating a lot of good quality content on your website, which can then be syndicated, or it can be repurposed into video formats, reels, images, carousels is the other thing that people use on Instagram. And then you can basically distribute that content onto places like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, Medium, Reddit, and any other social media, any other major social media platform. So, Twitter as well would be one. And there's so many different tools and things like that, and, little kind of tricks that you can do these days that is going to make taking the content from your website and distributing it to these different platforms here really, really easy. You could create like a year's worth of content in about a week, in next to no time, really, using some of these tools. And you could syndicate that across all of these platforms. And that just by doing SEO, you've then got enough content to then syndicate out to all these platforms, and just make sure that you've got a presence there at all times. So that would be the next thing. So website SEO and then content syndication. So once you've got all of that in place, the next thing that I would suggest is targeted traffic. So what I mean by targeted traffic is really like paid ads. So I'm talking like Google ads. You've got Google ads, and then you've got things like social media ads. So Google ads especially at this point, because you would have done a lot of the keyword research already for SEO. So what you can then start doing, because SEO is going to take anything from 3 to 6 months to start, properly get rolling, and then 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 3 years to properly start ranking for a lot of these keywords. You can then start putting some of these keywords into Google Ads campaigns and start testing what ones are going to be performing the best. And then you can keep going back to your kind of SEO strategy, and you can be tweaking some of these pages. So for example, like if you're going to be targeting, let's say for example, like vinyl flooring in London, there might be other variations to that keywords that keyword that convert a lot better than vinyl flooring in London. And you'll be able to see on your Google Ads campaign what those variations are. What are the different keywords that are getting the clicks and the conversions and things like that. And as you're getting this data, you can obviously be going back to this content on here, and you can be tweaking this content to make sure that you're getting those various keywords in this content. Now, something to remember is that Google doesn't necessarily have to, you don't necessarily have to have those keywords on this page for Google to rank you for those keywords. You can rank for keywords. You could rank this page here for keywords that are not even written on here, because Google understands the relationship between certain keywords and other keywords. So it's not absolutely necessary that the keywords you want to target are written on here in the exact way that they need to be said, sort of thing. But if you're optimizing your content, and there are certain keywords that are going to convert a lot better just by running Google Ads and seeing what ones are actually making you the money, then you can definitely prioritize those keywords in your content and make sure that you're getting them in there, just to absolutely make sure that they're the kind of keywords that you're going to get picked up for. So Google Ads is a very good way to start kind of testing, a lot of what you've done in SEO. Now, arguably, you could actually do Google Ads straight after you've built your website, because then the other kind of way of doing it would be that you would build your website, you would then create a Google Ads campaign, and then you would test all of the different keywords that you want to kind of target and the different products and services that you're going to be offering. And you can then take that information and then start building out your SEO campaign. So you can do it either way. You could start running Google Ads straight away before you actually start doing SEO, or you could start doing SEO and then you can start running Google Ads. It doesn't really matter which way you do it. But basically the main thing is that you want to be taking the data from each of these different campaigns and kind of, helping them. So for example, a lot of the keyword research, like I was saying, that you've done for the SEO is then going to be transferable into Google Ads, and then a lot of the data that you're getting back from Google Ads is going to be transferable into your SEO campaign. So like I say, whatever way you wanted to do it, depending on budget and depending on how quickly you wanted leads and stuff like that, would be the kind of way to go. Now, it's probably worth saying as well that although you have built a new website, I would never run Google Ads to your main website, because these days, to get the maximum effect out of Google Ads, you need to create specific landing pages for the ad groups that you're creating in Google Ads. So, for example, similar to what you're doing in SEO, when you're in SEO, you're trying to target, for example, the keyword flooring London, and you need to create a whole page about flooring in London. Now, the difference between this page and a page for Google Ads is this page here is going to be very content heavy. This is going to be structured in a way so it's got all of the right headings and they're all of the right content and all of the right keywords in it that's going to help this page rank for that keyword organically. Whereas Google Ads, on the other hand, you're not trying to get it to rank like you are in Google, like you are with SEO, sorry. You're trying to get the page to convert as much as possible. So there's going to be a lot less content on a Google Ads page in comparison to a page that you're trying to rank in SEO. And, you might even structure the page slightly differently as well. You're not going to, like, my kind of preference for creating location pages these days is by having this kind of 50-50 split here, where you've got all of like the supplementary content down here on the left hand side, and then on the right hand side here is all the kind of bulky, kind of long-winded information about all of the products and services that fall under this category. And that's my kind of preference for building location pages, whereas a landing page for Google Ads is going to be very straight to the point. It's going to be like, this heading up here, the heading 1 is going to highly relate to the keywords that you're targeting in your Google Ads campaign. And then as you kind of scroll down the page, it's all just going to be about, just trying to get people to convert and see that you're, the right kind of solution for their problem. So, a lot of this stuff here that I've put kind of down the bottom on the SEO page is actually going to be a lot higher up for the Google Ads page, because a lot of this kind of bulky information here is not going to be here. So, if someone was to land on a page when they've clicked on an ad, then a lot of the time that their intention is that they need to actually buy something there and then, or they're going to fill out a contact form. So obviously the contact form or, your phone number or email address is going to be right at the top there. But then as we start going down, it's all just going to be about trying to, build up trust with the person that's just landed on your page. Just showing them case studies, showing them your process, maybe answering a few questions, but that's probably going to be again right at the very bottom of the page. And then obviously the reviews are going to be one of the most important things for converting people in Google Ads. So, like I was saying, if I go back to this quickly, you don't necessarily, when you're running Google Ads, you're not going to be running your Google Ads back to your website, your main website. You're going to be creating specific landing pages for Google Ads. However, the reason I would always start with a website first, even if you are running Google Ads, is because when someone, for example, searches for a particular product or service within a particular location, and you happen to be targeting that with your Google Ads, they may or may not fill out the form there or then. It's highly likely they will if they do click onto your page and your page is actually structured correctly and all, it converts well. But even after they fill out the contact form, they might well go and do a little bit of research on your company, because they may have filled out a few contact forms at that point. So if you've got a good quality website in place, after they've landed on your Google Ads and after they visited your landing page, then your website can then obviously back up the stuff that you've been saying in a little bit more detail from your Google Ads landing page. So that's why I always start with building a new website or getting the existing website up to scratch. And like I say, you can put Google Ads, you can start doing Google Ads straight after you've built the website. You can do that here, or you can start with SEO and then you can start Google Ads once you've got all of your SEO kind of set up and start tweaking the SEO campaign based on the Google Ads data. So the other thing that you can obviously start doing as well would be running social media ads. Now, this isn't actually something that I have too much experience with. I've run my own social media ads, but it's not something I kind of get involved with these days. So the kind of strategy with that is especially with Facebook ads and Instagram and stuff like that, you can target people based on their interest and their location, you know, their demographics, their age, whatever it is that's going to be most kind of relevant to a flooring company within a particular location. So the idea with social media ads is they're coming up on the person's feed that is most likely to interact with those ads. So they're going to convert a lot less than something like Google Ads, because really what you're doing with Google Ads is kind of placing the ad in front of them, in front of someone that is likely to be you know, a good candidate to go ahead and actually purchase your products or services. But really, I think with Google Ads, with social media ads like Facebook ads, the thing that you're trying to do is build a little bit of brand awareness. And if someone's always seeing your ad coming up because they have interest similar to flooring, like home improvement or whatever, then it's going to help them, you know, kind of make a decision later on when they actually do go to kind of research you on Google or whatever it is they do. Another thing that you can use social media ads for is obviously if someone had already visited another flooring company's website, or they visited your website, when they do go back onto their social media account, they're obviously going to see the ads for your business as well after they've just visited your website. So it's social media ads. Like I say, I haven't got too much experience with them, but as far as I know, that would be the kind of strategy you would use for that. Okay, so the next thing after we've done targeted traffic, the last thing that I would be wanting to focus on, obviously there's a lot of other things we can go into, but this is just the initial strategy that I would say is the most logical way of marketing your flooring company, and that would be email marketing. So email marketing, in my opinion, is a massive underutilized area for any local flooring company, because it is such an easy thing to set up and such an easy thing to get going with such little kind of upkeep. So nearly every flooring company has got a relatively big database. If they've been operating for quite a few years, they've got a pretty big database of all of their, you know, previous customers' emails and phone numbers and names and addresses and things like that. And obviously people that haven't actually gone ahead with their products and services, you'll probably find that a lot of flooring companies have actually, you know, still got that data on their system somewhere. So if you've been keeping track of all of this kind of stuff, then you can quite easily start creating, you know, like a list, like a reactivation campaign in a way. So you can create what I would call like an evergreen email marketing campaign. So basically an evergreen campaign would be, it doesn't matter whether you added them to the email campaign now or you added them to the campaign in, you know, a year's time. That first email that they get is always going to be relevant. You know, it's not, you know, bound by time or anything like that. So for example, it could just be a little bit of information about the products and services that you offer. And basically, you know, you might have a list of a few hundred people that you can put into this email marketing campaign, and all you have to do is send them an email, a newsletter, once every, you know, roughly 25 days or something like that, just to keep yourself top of mind. And you can add, and if you created this email campaign where you know they only get an email once every 25 days, then you've only got to write one email per month just to keep on top of it, really. And you can just keep adding more and more people into this email marketing campaign. And as long as you're always writing one email per month, you know, which is what, like it takes about an hour, I suppose, to write a decent email, or to think of an email and write an email at most, then, you know, it's not a particularly hard thing to do every month, is, you know, to write an email marketing kind of newsletter. So yeah, that would be one of the things that I would say is quite important for a lot of flooring companies that they don't currently do. And that would really be the process that I would kind of take to market a flooring company initially anyway. So first of all, build the website. Second, you can either start Google Ads or you can start SEO. Preferably, I would always kind of start SEO and get the ball rolling with that, because obviously it takes a lot longer than something like Google Ads. So you go website, Google Ads, SEO, sorry. Then from all of the content that you're creating in your SEO campaign, you can then syndicate that out to all of the different platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, Medium, Reddit, whatever ones that you wanted to add it onto. And like I say, there's so many tools out there these days that can actually do that very easily. When I'm talking about syndication, I'm talking about all of the content you've created for the SEO campaign. Once you've syndicated all of that content, you can then start running Google Ads, because you've got a lot of content across the web now. You've got all of the content on the different social media platforms. All of your website has got all of the relevant information if someone was to land on it. Your brand's represented correctly on from building a new website. So now you can start running ads, Google Ads, to separate landing pages. But then obviously, if people were to do a little bit of background research on you, you can see that you're a reputable company based on the content you already put out there. So then once you've started running ads, another thing you can also do to build a little bit more brand awareness across the web and make sure that you've got that like omnipresence, so it doesn't matter where people look, they're always seeing you, would also be to run Google social media ads. And then lastly, something else that you can do would be to start a email newsletter. And with every kind of contact, every kind of prospect or lead that you're getting, you can obviously make sure that you're taking their name and their email, most importantly, and you can add them into this evergreen content, into this evergreen email newsletter, and you can continuously get in front of them. Make sure that like your brand name, for example, is in the subject line at all times, and even if they don't even open that email, they're going to see your brand name before they put it in the bin. And it's very likely that a lot of people are not actually going to read the email, they're not going to take much notice of it, but you'll be surprised about the amount of people that never actually unsubscribe from emails that they don't want. And then when someone does, for example, when one of their friends asks them, do you know a flooring company within the local area, then the first company they're going to think about is you, because they're seeing your brand name in their inbox every month or something like that. So that would be the kind of approach that I would take to market a flooring company at the moment. Obviously, there's a lot of other things that you can do. In fact, there's hundreds of other things you can do, but this is a very good kind of starting point to make sure that you're covering a lot of different areas across the web and making sure that you're in front of the right people at the right times at all times. So I'm going to end it here, and obviously if you've got any questions or anything like that, then you can drop me an email, something like that. I can answer them in the next show. But yeah, obviously thank you for watching, and look forward to seeing you.